And we're live. Hello, hello. Hope everybody's
Hi.
having a wonderful day. And it is my absolute joy to welcome the incomparable Aram. Welcome, Aram. How are you today?
Better now. So thank you for having me. Just now finished releasing a new version of Zellij. I'm not a big fan of RCI, so once the version is released, I feel the stones off my chest. So at the moment, I'm doing awesome.
I'm very glad to hear that. Yeah, no, and congratulations on the release. It's so wild that you got that all done as we were going live.
Yes. It was very, very last minute. I thought at some point that I'm going to have to pause the release, do the stream, and then go back to the release. So I'm pretty happy we got that done. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'd love to, before we start talking about terminals and superpowers and extending them, I'd love to give you an opportunity to please introduce yourself to our viewers and learn a little bit about what you're working on.
Sure. So I'm Aram, and I'm one of the lead maintainers of Zellij. Zellij, I guess. I call it a terminal workspace. Technically, it's also a terminal multiplexer. This is what I'm doing with my life right now. I'm my full time. I'm developing the application, that's me.
Fantastic, thank you. And we're gonna go dive all into what Zellij is, what a terminal workspace is, what terminal multiplexing is. I'm gonna drop a link to Zellij. This is what you see here on my screen. This is the Zellij website, and I'd love to know, how did this project come about for you?
So I'm my entire development career, I've been a Vim programmer,
Nice.
or my IDE is Vim, not. Yeah. I think a lot of other Vim users, especially before the Neo-Vim thing happened, then we kind of get into the habit of building an environment around our editor. And for me, at first, it was kind of multiple terminal windows of, here I have several windows with my code, and there I run my code, and things like that. Then I moved on to Tmux, and I did it in Tmux for a while. Tmux was a little too inflexible for me, doing stuff doing stuff whenever I'm on this word in Vim, open this file in a different Tmux window, and such things that especially today, a few years later, are more possible, but super hard. So after Tmux, I in order to do all these things, I moved to i3, and then kind of all my operating system was, or all my window manager was my IDE. And then I was kind of able to do these things like scripting in the window manager itself. I had, if you know, do you know Ranger?
I don't.
Ranger is pretty cool. It's a terminal file explorer. Kind of, if you remember from our youth, I kind of remember Norton Commander, maybe.
I don't.
Maybe I'm too old.
Maybe I just didn't use that tool. Sorry.
All good. It's cool. Check it out. It's a file explorer. So I had it shows you a file tree of your files on the side, and then you can pick one. And I rigged my i3 so that I open this file, and it opens a new terminal window with Vim open to that file. I had a lot of scripts like that, but eventually it became a kind of a soup of bash scripts that was very hard to maintain and move to another machine and share with other people and such. And I thought, let's build a platform that allows me to describe this environment in a configuration file. and kind of does all those things under the hood. So that's how Zellij started. That's the goal.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get into it a little bit. So what we're going to be doing today is Aram is going to give us a whirlwind tour of Zellij, and best way to do it is by using it. So we're going to be using Zellij in my machine and start working with it in the docs repository of Suborbital's tools. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I currently have Zellij installed, and my terminal is ready for using it. And before I start using Zellij, you know, what you were describing was something that brought me as well into complex terminal workspaces. I too, I started out as an Xcode developer, but when it was time to go into Ruby on Rails in my career, I quickly discovered and fell in love with Vim, and also discovered Tmux. And spoiler alert, up until recently, was a happy Tmux user. And the reason I needed a tool like Tmux was to have these complex workspaces. Now I'm using a terminal emulator emulator. I think it's terminal. Yeah, I think it's a terminal emulator. They're called iTerm.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. I'm on macOS, and what it lets me do is have panes and tabs, which is probably the most common use case of a terminal workspace. So for example, I can open tabs but with Command D, and that'll give me multiple tabs, multiple panes. And if I need a window, multiple panes. And if I need tabs, I can do that with Command T, which is kind of what we're going for with Zellij, except there's much more to it. But that's kind of like the impetus of what got me into terminal multiplexing.
Sure. No, sorry, please go on.
So, well, with that said, I'd love to launch us into using Zellij. So what we're going to be doing today is we'll be doing a little bit of pair. Can we call it pair programming? I guess so, because I mean, we're not going to be full on coding, but we're going to be doing coding stuff.
Sure.
And in that essence, I'll be driving, and Aram will be kindly navigating. Folks, for those of you watching live, this is, a collaborative environment. So if you have questions, comments, ideas, please throw them into the chat. I've got the chat open here at all times, so you are not alone, and neither are we. So let's do it. So I actually just updated Zellij to the latest release. So how do I get started?
So you're in the docs repository. So just type Zellij and enter.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'm so sorry.
Cannot find shell Zash. Okay. I'm not sure why it can't find the Zash shell, but let's maybe start it with I think options minus default shell Zash, and we can fix this issue later.
Yeah. So like this?
Zellij, no, it's let me check. It's one of those things you only remember with your hands.
All good.
So
Bring Down Excess says, love this.
Zellij space options without minus.
Oh, like this.
Yeah, exactly. Space minus default minus shell space Zash.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah. I wonder what it might have been. Maybe it was one of my old config files that might have been lying around.
Yeah. don't know.
Nevertheless, we're
But
here.
yeah, I like the error message that tells you like exactly what's going wrong, what's gone wrong, and how to fix it. So like,
Yeah.
I'm proud to have done my part as much as possible.
Fantastic.
Cool. Okay. So yeah. So now we started it. I think we talked a little bit before about like some issues in the repository that that you have, where like for me, every repository, even if it has like a build system or something around it, there are like 3-4 commands that you have to run all the time. That you keep looking through your shell history in order to run them, and like up enter and up enter, and like it's kind of annoying
all the time.
What I like to do is for such a command is to create a Zellij layout, and I think it can be cool to do it in this repository. So I was thinking it's something cool that we can do together now, but you said you might want to like demonstrate Zellij a little bit before that, like kind of because you kind of showed iTerm, so maybe you can show a bit of the things that Zellij can do.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. And for context, what we're looking at here in this repository is a Docusaurus set of docs. Got your React. And the commands that we're running quite often are a link checker, making sure all of our links are pointing somewhere with Lychee. And the other command that we're running is, it's in here, or high spell check for running for doing a spell check of our, making sure all of our spelling is correct. And those are I would say the two biggest ones that we're working with on a common basis. We've got that in our GitHub Actions as well, but I like to do it also when I'm working on the docs themselves.
Yeah, for sure. So you don't have to only check it when you push, and then damn it.
We've all been there. Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I think it would be great to start by like comparing what I did recently with iTerm with how you would do it in Zellij.
Cool. So here, to open new tabs, you can do like Alt-N.
Alt-N.
N. All right. I don't know if you're on a Mac. I don't know what the Mac equivalent of that. Okay. So I think there are ways to get it working on Mac OS, but you can also do Control-P-N.
So Control-P-N.
So that was Control-T.
Was it?
Yes.
Control-P-N. Oh, yes. A new pane.
But it's good. Like it's also another feature. So we also have tabs, which you can open with Control-T-N. You can move between them, like either with the mouse, pressing on the tab above, or like Control-T and then arrows, or HJKL if you're a Vim user. The first few versions we had like a bit of an issue with like Alt plus arrows, so we were only able to provide Alt plus HJKL, and a lot of people rightfully complained that not everyone is a Vim user. So you can open the different panes, different tabs. If you can do like a Control-P-N again, Control-P. Or Control-P-D to open one like horizontally.
Oh yeah, because I see the
down. I call it
Yeah, because I see them here at the bottom, right? We've got like new, close, rename. Oh, you can rename. I did not know you could rename them.
Yeah,
so if I press D, that takes me down here.
It splits down. Yeah, and I guess the window is a little small right now because we have to stream it, but so it might seem a little crowded. But you can imagine this on your like large screen terminal window, so it's like much easier to follow. And you can rename the titles. Right now, the titles is something that we get from your shell. So your shell tells us which directory we're in, and it updates like the title. I find it very useful because with lots of open windows, I often forget like where I am. You mentioned that you can, yes, exactly, hello world.
That's very cool.
You mentioned that you can see like that you can see like the help below showing you what to do. That's like, in my mind, that's a very important part of an application, like the discovery part. Because in Tmux, for example, you have to kind of know what the shortcuts are. You often have to work, especially if you're new, with a cheat sheet on the sides. Like, okay, how do I split the window? And like here, it just tells you.
That's very cool.
Yeah, later on, once you get used to the shortcuts, if it's too much for you, it takes up too much screen space, you can also make it like just one bar on the bottom, which shows like both the tabs and the mode you're in and such.
That's
cool. Yeah, this basic functionality. Oh, another a couple of more cool features that you have here. You can do try Control PW.
I'm not gonna even read it. So W.
Trust me on that one.
This one's my favorite.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
This is a floating pane.
Ibrahim says hello. Hey, Ibrahim, thanks for joining. We're playing around with Zellij. Feel free to ask us questions, give us tips, like comments. Like, please, this is an open collaboration. Learning some terminals. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, good. The cool thing about the floating pane, I use it, for example, I like to have a lot of Vim windows open to the different files that I have on screen, and then have a floating pane pop up with like a shell. If I have to like, oh, damn it, I need to move a file from one place to another, or run my tests, or whatnot. Then I like to pop up the shell, and like the floating window, it's also toggleable. So if you do Control P W again, you can see, by the way, on the line below, tells you floating panes visible. Press Control P W to remove them. Yeah, then you can toggle it back and forth.
Really? Oh wow! So that's the same one.
Yeah, and you can open more. Like remember at the beginning we opened a new pane with Control PN. If you press Control PN while the floating window is open, then it opens another floating window.
No way.
Yeah, and then you can switch them around. You can also, by the way, you can also move them with the mouse if you want to.
No.
Yeah.
No, I did not know this.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't sound like a lot. I know it doesn't sound like a lot in the age of like, window GUIs, but like doing this in the terminal is just wow. This is really cool.
So and if you do Control P and if you do Control PW now, it will toggle both of them off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pardon?
This is gonna replace Control Z for me.
So in that regard, maybe let's start. You mentioned like there are a few commands that you run like multiple times in this repository, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's start with one of those commands.
Sure thing. The spell checker. So that would be make spell check. Yeah. So I'll just I'll have that running here.
Cool. Yeah. Pi spelling is like a Python script that checks your like spelling the documentation.
That's right. So
cool.
If everything's working,
spell check
we specify a spell check YAML file with the technical terms that should be skipped.
Should be skipped. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Cool. I didn't know about about this application.
It's pretty great, yeah.
Okay, so let's try something. Let's do type Zellij run --, make spell check, or minus space. Yeah, exactly. Minus space, make spell check.
Quotes are just like that.
Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot something. Zellij run --, floating, because we want to open it in a new floating pane, and then --, space the command make spell check.
Like that.
Yes. Okay, so now it opened it for us in a new pane, which is just this command. Like it's not to run in like inside Zash, like inside your shell.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Zellij runs it directly. And then the cool thing, as you can see here, that when it's done, we see its exit status below.
Yeah.
Or exit code. I honestly never know the difference, but like one means one thing and the other means another. And now we can do we can press enter to rerun it again, and then it runs the command again. Or Control C to completely close this window. I find myself a lot of the time running this command in a window, having a background process do its thing. Then coming back to it and seeing when it's done. If I need to run it again, I press enter or Control C to just close it. I feel that in Zellij we're almost there regarding this flow being comfortable, but my goal sometime in the future is to have a toggle that you press Alt D or something like that, and then it just opens a small thin line that shows your shell. You type the command that you want to run, and it opens it in a separate window. If the command is already running somewhere, it focuses you on that command.
Cool.
And and so I want to kind of slowly allow users to move away from the paradigm of I have a scroll and I type things and they get into my scroll, and then I type them again and they move up and they have to scroll up and down to find out what's happening. And because I think it's much nicer to have exactly the same power of the terminal, to be able to do all the piping and output redirection and traversing directories and stuff like that, but not have to rely on everything just being one on top of each other and you having to find it every time. It's just open in different windows and you have different ways to get to them. So slowly building up to that experience, but right now I think we're pretty close with the command panes.
This is just remarkable, and the fact and I like the workflow of using Control C to exit, because that's very exity.
So that's what we know, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So okay, so this is one of the commands, and I guess we can open all of the different commands here and have them back and forth. But this is work that we need to do while we're developing. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to spend some time together to build Zellij layout for all of these commands in order to automate the workflow on this task.
Cool.
So a Zellij layout is just a brief introduction. It's a configuration file that allows us to describe a specific, a predefined setup of panes. So we can define that every time we load this layout, we'll have, for example, this spell check window somewhere, and below that one different command, and below that opening our editor to somewhere. And then every time you go into this repository, you can load this layout, and it poof just appears, and you can do it. So
I'm really excited about this.
Awesome. Okay, so let's build it. Cool. We can do a Control PW to shoo everything away.
Right.
And maybe close. Let's
I'll close some
stuff.
I'll close this tab as well. So we're one tab.
Okay. There. Nice. Okay. So let's edit the file. Call it. By the way, you can do that with, if you like, with Zellij space. I don't know. Do you have your Vim configured as your default editor?
Should be.
Yeah. When you do a git commit stuff, then it opens okay, cool. So Zellij edit, and let's call it I don't know, docs.kdl.
KDL.
Yes. Editing, and then it opened it would open your Vim in the current pane, it opened a new pane with Vim, like kind of like with the command.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. You can like one line say, I want to open this file, this file, this file, this file, open it in different tabs, and like I'll get to it later. The KDL suffix, the configuration language that Zellij used is called Cuddle. It's a new configuration language. I think it's very cool. It's like if you have ever encountered like the woes of YAML, of like the indentation and all the, like I recently saw like a meme that someone said like it's easy to work with YAML, you just need to have like a ruler on your screen to find out like where you are. So like a Cuddle solves a lot of that and is a very succinct and pleasant configuration language to work with.
Let me get a link to that and share it with folks, if I may.
Yeah, for sure.
Cuddle.dev. Oh, we got a question from Sumit here. How does it help with web development? I'm guessing how do these layouts help? And what we're doing now, in case you're just joining, hi Sumit, by the way, nice to see you. So I'm preparing my terminal so that I can work on the documentation for Suborbital, which is a web app. To do all of my spell checking and link checking and run my server without having to worry about having lots of terminals messing around with them. And Aram here from the Zellij team is very kindly helping me out. So, sorry, I've got docs.cuddle here.
Cool. First, let's do some setup, which is basically because the task we're doing is we will be telling Zellij, we're essentially creating a tab, right? That will include all of these commands, like a different tab. That every time you enter the project, you like do an alias, like commands or whatever. You can even do it. You can even tie it to your shell. So as soon as you enter the shell, it like does it for you. Enter that directory. But let's start simple. So what we're doing, we're creating a new tab. So let's put like the minimal layout that we can in this file and open it in a new tab and see what happens, and then slowly start adding things to it. Sounds good?
Sounds amazing.
Cool. So let's in this file type the word layout and save.
Oh, okay, just like that.
There you have it. Yeah, that's the minimal Zellij layout. And now let's go to the other pane that we have open.
I don't close this one. I'm just gonna come back here.
No, leave it open. Yeah. And let's type Zellij space action new minus tab minus layout.
Oh, you didn't. Yep.
Yeah. And point it to this file, to like the docs Cuddle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Zellij action, new tab, layout, docs.cuddle.
Yes, awesome. So this is like the most basic layout. It's like one terminal, which is like not super useful, but it's the most basic stuff. So let's close this terminal.
Yeah, and that's with exit.
Either with exit or with like a control PX.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's add the docs command to
start it up.
Layout. So start. Now we're like opening a block, like a curly braces after the layout. So yeah, exactly. And inside we're going to add like a pane. So please type pane space command equals. But no, it needs to be exactly. And now
quotation marks.
And help me remind me the command.
Yeah. So it's cd. We're going into the website. And yarn start.
No, but like the command that we started, like just to start up with that. Yeah.
Right. Make spell check.
Cool. So the command would be make.
Mm-hmm.
So like we need to add quotation marks after, like closing quotation marks after the make.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll open another block with curly braces in order to give it the args.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We got Rob here. Hi, Rob. Good to see you. We're doing some terminal superpowering and extending. Sorry. Yes. So.
Yeah. Okay. So before the spell check, let's add the word args, like a bare word, args, and then space. But no, equal you do only on the top line. This is like a Cuddle thing, and then quotation marks around spell check.
Got it.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Let's save it and open our layout in the other tab. And the other pane, I'm sorry. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, exactly. Cool.
There we go.
So now instead of like the basic terminal pane, we have like just the one pane doing the spell check. We have the exit code and enter to rerun, Control C to exit stuff below, and So let's add more stuff. Let's move back.
So Control C to exit. Does that work?
Yeah.
Got a comment here from Oyo saying, "Awesome tool made by awesome people." Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cool. So, okay. So now we want to add another pane. I think we can basically like copy paste this one and adjust it. Cool.
So this would be the one to start up the server.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So,
cool.
or actually let's do the server one first. So that'll require me to be inside to move into the folder website, and then run.
Okay, so for this we can add above the args we can add a CWD, like current working directory. Yeah.
So that'll be yarn. This will be start, and here this will be CWD.
D, yeah.
What does the is it current working directory?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Then like give it website. And then let's run it.
Fabulous. So save that, move back here.
There
wow. That's cool.
Right? Oh, wow. Yarn got much nicer. Is this yarn or is this like, oh no, this is a Docusaurus thing, right?
I suspect this is Docusaurus.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm like, wow, I don't remember yarn being this beautiful.
Fair.
Nice.
I mean, okay. I see that the spell check ended. So we're going back, right?
Yeah. I think you can close this entire tab, by the way, with Control TX.
I got to get into that habit. So Control TX. Cool.
Yes, if you want to destroy everything. Okay. So now we can add another command. Which other magical commands do you have in your hat?
This is the big one. Aram. This is Lychee.
Excited.
Which will also have a big set of arguments. I'm going to actually copy paste them because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
So args.
Whew, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding.
Yeah. So we unfortunately still don't have a very good way to describe such a long list of arguments in the layouts. I want to add easy aliases for this to make what we're about to do now easier. But unfortunately, what we're going to have to do is to place each one of the separate arguments in quotation marks. I want to be able for this to do for us to do what you did now and for this to work, but it doesn't yet, unfortunately.
But that's totally fine, Aram. I have a counter offer, if I may. because this is an indication that what I'm doing perhaps is not the best project maintenance. How about, given that we have a spell check make command, I could add one for links.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna try Zellij, edit, and then I'm gonna do make file. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How can I turn this one into a floating one?
Yes, Control PE for eject. Yeah.
I can't. This.
Hmm?
Oh God.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the floating panes are a cool one. I agree. It's one of my favorite features too.
It's just, and the fact that it's like mouse responsive and I can drag them. It's too much.
Uh-huh.
I can't. Cool. So what I'll do here is add that quickly. Quickly add that links, and then I'm gonna key hide for a sec. Come back here. Take that, bring it back in, lychee, and then paste that in. Save that.
By the way, if I may suggest, I rigged my Vim. There's like ways of doing this to rig your Vim so that all of the paste buffers of the Vim on your machine are the same paste buffer. So you can yank lines from one Vim window and like paste them in another Vim window without going through like a system clipboard.
I think I've got the same.
Okay, cool.
And I agree, it's super helpful. Could you do me a favor, Aram, and maybe get us a link to the setting for that?
Wow, I don't remember. I'll go to my Vim.rc file.
Well, that's right. Only if it's not a problem. I did this like 10 years ago,
sure.
and I've completely forgotten.
Yeah, same. I think we probably looked at the same Stack Overflow question to do that. Now I just don't remember how to. Yeah, I'm pasting it. Where am I pasting it?
Put it in the private chat, and then I can pop it in.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Yeah, there we go.
This is like one of my favorite things to do in like stuff like this, because in case you're interested, folks, that's how you get Vim to coordinate with your machine's clipboard. Thank you, Aram.
Sure.
Great. So that's done. What I'm wondering is, can I? Oh wait, let me see if I got this right. This is a pane, so I can close it with X. Is that correct?
Yes, you can even by the way, since this is an editor pane.
Yeah.
If you remember, like back when it was not floating, you opened it with a Zellij edit, right?
Right.
So if you want to close it, you can just quit Vim.
Oh, of course. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's super helpful.
But you can also, of course, close it normally with Control PX and yeah.
Let's make links. And in theory, save, come back here.
I think
I got.
Ooh. Yeah, I think the make file is not happy. You have angered the make gods.
I have to be honest. I am. This is my first time editing a make file.
Wow, you're in for a ride. Maybe it would be easier to add it to the Zellij layout.
Perhaps I come from the land of rake. Make links. Hold on, I'm curious. I if you don't mind indulging. Oh, I forgot to put that in.
No, sure. But by the way, you can open it directly as a floating window if you want with Zellij edit -- floating. Yeah, and then we'll open direct. And by the way, also Zellij has some aliases that we provide for this if you want, like but that's like because we don't want to like edit your shell and do things behind your back, so we have to manually do this. But you can like dump stuff that you can paste in your like shell configuration, and then you'll be able to do like ZE file and it will open file, or ZEF for floating and it will open it. I use them all the time. but
No,
it's just shorter.
That sounds brilliant for my kind of
Yeah.
workflow. So I wonder what I did here. That's my links.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do something silly. I'm gonna put it up here.
Like it's red, so it seems like oh, maybe it's a spacing issue. Maybe tab spaces, whatever. I know that's like a thing, and maybe try with a tab.
Oh yeah, it's a tab. But I think my Vim is configured.
There we go. There we go. There we go. That's Makefiles. Yeah.
I'm gonna try it out here real quick. Okay, that looks good. Let's clear that out. Thank you.
The fun of Makefiles. Yeah, for sure.
I did not think that was the thing. Great. So now, yeah, we've got we've got links broken. That's something we should be doing that I could be doing better. But nevertheless, we've got 3 of them, which is really cool.
Yeah, and take a look. We see like with the broken links, we see the exit code below.
Yeah.
Because it's broken, so that's like kind of useful for a quick look to find out what's going on. Cool. So yeah, okay. So this is like the 3 commands. Do you have like more commands that that you'd like to add, or is this good?
The way I would work is because I have a just for the sake of argument, I have a bigger file, a bigger window here. I like to have like, I'd love to have like these 3 off to the side and Vim here on. I hope you can see my window, my mouse moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Vim here off to the left. Is that possible?
For sure. Do you want your Vim open to a specific file?
No. I use Vim Control P to navigate to jump around files. So I'd like to have it.
No, like the initial window, or Control P like inside Vim.
Sorry. I'd like to have it just like Vim and the directory.
Vim. So like Vim, open to.
Here, I'll show you what I mean. I'm so sorry.
Let's open Vim. No.
I'm being unclear. Just like that.
Just like that. Oh yeah, cool. Easy. Okay. I suggest we first add Vim to the layout. Make sure it's like working like you want it to, and then we'll arrange the windows like to be in a friendlier arrangement on screen. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Sounds great.
So let's add like the first line between layout and the first pane. Like pane command equals Vim. Yeah, that's it.
I like Cuddle.
That's it. Say, yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, then we can open the new tab like we did. Make sure it's working. Great. So you basically want this, but for the Vim window above to be like on the left. Yeah?
Correct.
Let's do that. Let's like close this, go back.
Yeah.
So now in order to use this in the layouts, what we're going to do is we're going to like wrap some of the panes in logical containers. This means that like we're right now we have actual containers, which is like we gave it a pane and we say in this pane, please run this command. Right. So right now I want to like let's first. Because essentially what we want to do is we want to have on the left a Vim window, and then on the right 3 horizontal commands like we have right now. So if we like take a step back and look at this layout, we essentially have a vertical layout, and then nested inside this vertical layout, we have a horizontal layout, right?
Yes.
Because we have first the vertical layout of the one big Vim pane and the other half of the screen, the 3 commands. And then the 3 commands themselves are like a horizontal layout. So let's do that. Let's wrap everything in like everything. You're doing some Vim magic that I do not know.
Oh, I don't think so.
What are you planning?
It depends on what we're wrapping it in.
I want to wrap it in like another pane.
Okay, what I'll do is probably illegal, but let's do it anyway. Pane.
Pane split underscore direction equals quotation marks vertical.
And then
open braces, yeah. And inside everything we had before. Aha, okay, cool. Now I get what it says. Nice, and then like we can indent it nicely, exactly.
I think some of my Vim stuff is missing because, oh no, it is taking the plugin correctly, right? Like the Cuddle plugin is working correctly.
I hope so.
Okay.
But you can indent it. Yeah, there are some issues in the Cuddle plugin with like 2 spaces, 4 spaces in indentation. So like if you want to be like super conscious about it, we can add another indentation.
Gotcha.
Because right now it's like 2, but it'll work. You know, it's not like the make files. So cool. Okay, so now let's just, for the sake of it, open this to see how it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Did you save?
You know what, Aram? I might have not saved. My bad.
Maybe.
That is. Find out if I did. Nope. My bad.
Okay.
There
cool.
we go. Nice.
Cool. So now like we have like the same thing we had before, but like with the vertical stuff. So let's fix the internal like logical pane in order to like get at them, the ones, the commands themselves, like one below each other. So let's go back.
So X.
Yeah, and then we do the same thing that we did with pane split direction vertical, but with pane split direction horizontal, and just including the commands like after Vim. Yeah.
Split direction horizontal. Forgot the equals. Get that in a sec.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah, save. And open the tab. Yeah. Yeah. There
Exactly
we
what
have
I
it.
wanted. This is my
Nice,
workflow
right?
there. I used to use a tool called tmuxinator, where the declared I think it might have been YAML or something that I declared in, and I had to do percentages or something, and I don't remember. Like
you have to both do percentages, and if I'm not mistaken, I think you only have like a specific setup of layouts. You can like only have, you don't have as much creativity as we have here. But let's add some more stuff, because if you'll notice, we're missing the UI, right?
Oh yeah,
like we don't have the Zellij UI itself.
Yeah.
So let's add it. Let's move back. Now, the Zellij UI is a plugin. Zellij has a WebAssembly plugin system. So the Zellij UI is essentially like some Rust code compiled to WebAssembly and loaded by Zellij. By default, like the default layout, which is what you get when you open Zellij, has this loaded. But here we created a new layout, so we need to tell it, because maybe you don't want to load plugins. That's totally legit. So we have to explicitly tell it to load the plugins.
I'm so sorry, Adam. I have so many questions. You're going to tell me that every time I'm running Zellij, I'm running WebAssembly?
Yes. Yes. So what you see above, the tab bar above, is one WebAssembly plugin. And the status bar below, the control plus and the tip and everything, is another one. So The idea is to be able to, like right now, the plugin system is a little janky. Like it's good for our purposes, but it's not super easy to write a plugin. And it's mostly something it's something you can mostly do just in Rust. But as we speak, I am doing this is what I'm doing now. I'm doing work on the plugin system in order to make it like more developer friendly, to improve the DevX essentially, and make it super easy to run a plugin. And then the idea, why did we do it in WebAssembly, is that so you'll be able to write a plugin in any language that compiles to WebAssembly, which is basically any language. And because I want if I'm a JavaScript developer with 1 month experience, I want to be able to write a cool piece of UI for my terminal that with whatever, emojis or whatever I want, to make it, to personalize it, to make it my own, to improve parts of my workflow and such. And that's the reason for the WebAssembly. So.
That's amazing. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the fact that this is WebAssembly out of the box. So. Right. So the reason you decided to have a plugin system that works this way is because was to give that option for folks to be able to be like you said, I want to add some cool UI. I'll just write it in JavaScript, and the goal is to have that sort of compiled to WebAssembly, and then we have Zellij just take that WebAssembly. It doesn't care what it is. It's just I trust because of the way WebAssembly is set up, it trusts it, puts it up and runs it accordingly.
Yeah, and once we add more capabilities, then we'll have a permission system. Hey, the plugin you're trying to load wants access to your I don't know, shell integration, network, sound, whatever. Do you want to let it? Do you want to not let it? Do you want to only partially let it? And stuff like that. So yeah, that's the idea. WebAssembly is it's a pretty good platform to build this sort of thing on, I find.
That's amazing. Cool. Well, let's use it, please.
Yes. So let's add the Zellij UI. Now, this is something I do not remember how to do this by heart. So let's. What I usually do when I want to add the plugins is I look at the default layout. So let's in the command Zellij setup. Minus dump minus layout default. Yeah, enter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and this is a file that should be a little bit familiar by now. And here we see the default layout. If we notice, when you open Zellij, you get the plugins above and below, and a terminal window in the middle, which is this layout. Yeah. We have the here we have the tab bar above and the status bar below, and a pane in the middle, and that's how it works. So
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pick off my jaw from the floor for just a moment, because this is just so that is essentially declaring what a default terminal looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I just can't.
Yeah, we use our layouts too. We're not just giving it to users and say, yeah, use it. We also use it, to build Zellij internally. I think that's what makes them powerful.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so if I understood correctly, I can take this as is.
But wait. I want to show you something cool.
Please.
So yes, you can, for sure. You can copy paste it with a mouse, but we are Vim users, so you can also inside the terminal pane. You can. What we can do is we can tell Zellij to open this pane in Vim. Take the whole scrollback and everything, throw it into a temporary file, and point Vim at that temporary file. And then what we will do is we will copy paste through Vim. I do that a lot.
I sense some pipe magic.
Almost. So to do this, let's do like Control S and E for edit.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, and then you're in your Vim. Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm never copy pasting with the mouse again.
Right. Right. And like, imagine if you're opening Zellij on a remote server, and you have like. You have a file that you want, for example.
Yeah.
You can start with all the SCP and stuff in order to move it, or you can cat the file and then open it in your scrollback and just paste it to like wherever you want.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. Well, I'll just take that.
Yeah.
And probably up here. Whoopsie.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah, I did.
Huh.
I wait a minute. So I could, in theory, if I wanted to, because it's as modular as it is, put everything at the top.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very comfortable to me, but you can. So
I'm just.
You can switch them around, or yeah, for sure.
I'm in shock. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And to leave, I'm just leaving Vim. I take it.
Yeah, quit Vim.
What happens if I save this?
You can save it to a different file. Yeah. Like if you save it right now, it'll just save the temporary file somewhere with a weird hash in your temp directory. But yeah, you can also in Vim do like Control W space /home/Ramon/my awesome scrollback.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. I'm gonna need to sit down after this stream to recover.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aram. This is
strap in. We're like going very fast.
Wow. Okay. Let me
Cool.
make sure let me just quickly make sure I save that.
But no, let's put it like but let's because the plugins are like on top right now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did that on purpose.
Oh, that's where you want them. Okay, cool.
Just for experimentation's sake. I also
sure.
I'm quite intrigued by the fact that you can declare a size for a pane. That's very cool.
Yes, you can do that. This is a bit unstable. Like when we open this, it might be a little janky. It's the thing I'm working on next because it does like. We have a bit of internal issues with that. So mostly what works is declaring size as percentage, like declaring it as a percentage of the screen. But the fixed size, like I think this will work. But in any case, it's like it's the next bug I need to squash. So cool. So let's see if it works.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, Zellij setup. No. Okay.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, both plugins are on top right now.
Yeah, we're just experimenting. That looks amazing.
Yeah.
So for you people who prefer, your tabs to be at the bottom, for example, you could just do that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you can also load a different plugin. We have like a compact status bar, which shows you like just the tabs and the input mode that you're in without all the shortcuts and helping and and stuff, which like if you already know the key bindings, it can be like super helpful to get more screen real estate.
Just make it more sensible.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's better now.
I could feel your pain from the other side of the city, Aram.
Yes. Oh no, what are you doing to my beautiful plugins?
Sorry. I am.
There we go.
Cool.
One more thing that we can add is these commands are kind of short-lived. Like they take a few seconds to run, and they don't seem super intensive. But I have, for example, a layout that runs the Zellij end-to-end tests, and that's heavy. Like clearing the environment and like starting a Docker container and like compiling all of Zellij in a release build, and like it's very heavy. And what would happen if I open like a layout with all those plugins is that as soon as I open the layout, it starts running the commands. And that's not necessarily what I want, because I don't want to like start killing my computer as soon as I like go into my workspace and find out like what I'm doing, what I'm working on, and yeah. So I like to add to each one of the commands an argument called start suspended, which would like give us the span but won't run the command until we tell it. So essentially, we need to add an attribute like CWD and args called start_suspended. Yeah, you got it. Equals true, or not equals. I'm sorry. Space true.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll drop that here and whoopsie.
Yep, you got it. And now let's see it in action.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey. Nice.
Right. So now like you can go to each one and press enter in order to run it the full time, and then it's like exactly the same.
I'm gonna leave this one out because every time we've done it, it opens a new tab in Firefox for me, and it has. That's why every time you do it, you see me go like. Anyway.
What's going on? Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe one day we'll be able to reach a point where we can render your browser inside a terminal tab, but that is still a far future.
Run links, maybe? Is it links? I think so.
Links. Oh, links. Yeah. No, but like the browser itself. Like I want to take like a Chromium or whatever and render it in a terminal. Like with terminal graphics, with Sixel, or what have you. But yeah, that's a pipe dream right now. There's a lot of things that need to happen.
I mean, honestly, the fact that you already have, let me just get my floating buddy here. The fact that you can drag around a floating window, I believe anything is possible in the terminal now.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And there are also ways to make this layout more succinct, to use like pane templates, like for shortcuts and stuff like that, to make it like more readable. So to like to avoid repetition. Yeah, this is like just a layout for one tab. You can add like multiple tabs to a layout. That starts, and then you have tab templates, and it's a whole world. And the cool thing about this layout is that you can take this file as is, give it to like other people in your team, commit it to your repository, like in a .layout Cuddle or whatever. And then like when, I don't know, someone joins your team and you want to tell them how to use the repository, you just tell them, load this layout. And it's like, yeah, here's the commands you need to run. This is what each of them does. And yeah, a cool feature that we'll be working on in the coming months is, I call it sequential layouts, which is essentially, right now, we have layouts that we can lay out in space. Like I want this layout here and this here to describe. I want also layouts that we can lay out in time. So meaning, imagine that you have like one of those pipelines of compile this code, start this Docker container, or like delete the previous Docker container, compile this code, start this Docker container, run the tests. Right now you can open that in a layout, and then you have to like kind of manually go press enter, wait for it to finish, press enter, wait for it to finish. And yeah, right. I want to be able to tell the layout, run this command after this pane exits. And yeah, and then you can imagine you have a floating window running your command, and then you have bling, another floating window open running the next command, bling running the last command, and eventually saying, okay, I'm done. And like you can add a lot of stuff to it. Like imagine, like you can essentially build a local CI. You can say, if it succeeds, open this pane. If it doesn't succeed, because we know the exit status, open this pane. And then like you can have human intervention in the middle. Like if it doesn't succeed, open this plugin. Then you get like a menu, which is a plugin that you wrote in Python or whatever. So you get like, if it doesn't succeed, open this like awesome plugin Python that I wrote that shows you a menu of, hey, human, what would you like to do? This failed, and you say, okay, restart it, restart just this phase, stop everything, send me logs by email, whatever. And then you take all the layout and stuff and you give it to someone else. It's like, how do I do these things in my code base? Oh, you just open this and press enter, and then it will tell you the rest. So
that's remarkable.
Yeah, these are the things that I'm working on now.
And that's fantastic. How can we follow what's going on with Zellij? And I'd love to also cover a little bit more. Like, actually, you mentioned. Sorry, before we go into that, I'm sorry. I'm excited. You mentioned a simplified menu plugin, and I was wondering, could I also remove these lines around?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. You can do like you can either put it in your config file to remove like the frames, or you can also do it at runtime with Control PZ.
Control P. Oh yeah, there I see it. Frames.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Then you have like a more Tmoxy look if you're into that sort of thing.
That's why I think I reported a bug to you a few weeks ago where and you were like, "Oh, you remove the frames. You're one of those people."
Yes. Why did you do that? Don't you like the frames? Aren't they beautiful? Why do you hate frames?
They're so nice. I love it. I like the titles a lot, but I don't know, the real estateist in me is like, but I need that column. I don't know.
Legit. It's good. I want to like kind of add a mode of like in between frames where you'll get like essentially just the thin Tmox like borders and then just the title. So we take up one line.
That I would like, because when I disabled it now that I understand and appreciate the titles, like now when I turn them off, I was like, oh no, I missed them.
Yeah.
Cool.
I work with frames. It's nice for me, but like
no, it's great to have the option.
Not everyone's jazz. Yeah.
How out of curiosity, how could we take a look at the configuration?
So yeah, the configuration, like we dumped the layout, we can dump the configuration as well. Zellij setup -- dump config.
That.
Yeah, oh, wow. And that's the configuration. You can scroll up with the mouse. You can also like dump it to a file if you want to. Or of course, you can open your editor.
Dracula! Are you a Dracula person?
No, but this is an example. Like the Dracula people did a PR for us to add theme. There are a few default themes that you can like play around with, and yeah.
For context, I'm a Dracula. This is the color.
You are a Dracula person.
Yeah.
I like. I'm mostly on the like default Zellij color scheme, but I'm like eyeing Cat Puccin. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
I think so.
Mostly because the Cat Puccin people seem like super nice and cool people, so they're probably making good themes too. You know.
Awesome. And I see that it's Cuddle as well.
Yeah.
Cool. You mentioned a plugin for a simplified status bar.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. So let's. You can't yet change your current layout. That's also something on my list. Like in case you ask what I'm doing, how yes, this is a full-time job, and I'm still not managing to do everything that I want. But things are slowly improving. So yeah, we can do. Let's check it out. Let's turn this layout to use the small bar. Okay. Cool. So let's. Where do you want it? Do you want it on the top or on the bottom?
Kind of want it at the top.
Awesome. So let's delete the bottom one. Cool. And here, instead of change the word tab to compact. I think that's it. Let's see.
Action.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Cool. Very cool.
But yeah, you can also you can also configure it to load by default through the config file. Like instead of loading the default layout, load the compact layout.
Awesome. And
And then like you can combine them. You can combine the compact layout with no frames. If let's say it's very important to you,
yeah,
which legit, then you can say I just want like one bar on top so I can see the tabs and which mode I'm in, and I
yeah,
want to disable the frames. So
totally, totally do that.
you can get that experience. Yeah.
Yeah, how would I do that?
So we go to the no, but that's not in the layout. That's in the config.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Like you can load configuration in the layout, but not for a tab layout. Like only if you start Zellij like that with this layout.
This is so cool.
So yeah.
Now I've essentially got my work environment working the way I like it.
Mhm.
I need to figure out what happened with my installation so that I can get my get all of my Vim plugins working again, because I'm noticing that my my control P is broken, but that's something I did.
It could be like I think the control P is just that Zellij is hijacking your control P.
Oh yeah. But I
Yeah.
changed it to be control L so I could do my
Mhm.
fuzzy search. But you remember when we
Yeah.
started it up and we had some issues running. I think it's my Z shell stuff that's a little
Could
broken
be.
right now. Yeah.
Could be,
So
or
this
maybe
is
like didn't load a config. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, cool. I really like having my tests in a floating command window. So every time one of my tests, like pop the window, press enter, see what's going on, go back.
I'm in awe. Like now I was thinking that something very similar. It's like quickly do my get stuck, get my
Oh
my
yeah,
git
for
stuck
sure. Get
here.
status, yeah, popular.
Yeah, I might actually lay out
Nice.
it at Cuddle. Add Zellij layout.
Oh, cool.
Do
Nice.
another commit for my new make file. Sorry, using my git shortcuts. Make file. Add link check. Make. Is it a task or is it a command?
Make thing. I don't know. I don't use make files exactly. We like in Zellij we're using cargo make, which is kind
nice.
of something that try to make less terrible, but only slightly.
Fair.
So,
Fair. Cool. Then I can just like pop that away, and whenever I need it again, bring it back. This I'm never going to use Control Z again.
yeah, right.
I've got so many takeaways from this. It's absurd.
Nice.
Cool. So if I close that, I wanted to ask like what about the other plugins that you had as well?
The other plugins.
The other plugins that exist for Zellij, like what are some examples?
Oh, okay. There's so maybe I'll show you how I work.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Please.
Yeah. Now let me set things up here.
No stress. This is really cool. I'm gonna give this a push here.
All right. So I'll just share my screen.
Go for it. Excellent. This is really. Thank you so much for this tour, Aram. This is.
Yeah, for sure. Happily.
I'm impressed. I still can't believe that I can just like grab my scroll and be like, oh yeah, and just like grab this link to create a pull request.
Yeah.
And then just like, all right, I'm done. Incredible.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people who come from Tmux say, hey, how do I, Tmux has like a copy mode where it has like Vim-like navigation. How do I do that in Zellij? And then I said, Zellij doesn't have a copy mode, but in Zellij you can open your actual Vim. So you don't need to settle for Vim-like, you just have a Vim. And
I love that.
There's something. It's a cool story about this feature because like I had it as an idea, like something that I want to happen at some point, and then someone on Reddit was saying, "Oh, I need the copy mode and such." And then I told him, like, I think it would be cool if you would be able to just open it in Vim, like copy your scroll back to a temporary file, point Vim at that file, and Bob's your uncle. But and then like that person said, like, this is such a cool idea that I want to implement it myself. And we did some back and forth, and he did. He implemented. He's the one who implemented this feature. It was his first, like it was the first time he wrote Rust code. He was like, I think he's a C or C++ developer, was complaining about Rust the whole way. What is this stupid language? But hey, not for everyone. All good.
I know I'm not gonna, what is it? I know I'm not going to like borrow this again. Just please let me use it.
Trust me, borrow checker. I'm good for it. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Cool. Do you see my screen?
Yes, I'm gonna bring it in right away.
Well,
so we're now going to switch from my screen to Aram's. Would you mind making the size just a touch bigger, please?
Oh, that's
if possible
difficult to do. Do you want like small, tiny, unreadable, or medium, large, huge, enormous? Like I'm using Xterm for some odd reason. Let's make it large, or is this good? Yeah,
you nailed it.
Cool.
Folks, if you're watching, if it's not readable, please let us know.
Yeah,
and ask questions, yo. Like, please. Sorry.
Maybe we're just super clear. So you asked about more plugins. So here on the left, we see this plugin is called. Remember, I told you about Ranger at the beginning of the stream. Yes. This plugin is called Strider because it's a Ranger clone, and we're Tolkien geeks. It lets you like explore the project, enter directories, like edit files and such. And this is also like a Zellij plugin. It's like Rust code compiled to WebAssembly and loaded in Zellij. It comes default with Zellij as well. You can load it with like Zellij -L Strider. And then it opens this layout, and like this is how I work. Like let's say I want to go into like this directory and open this file. Opens it like in a split. Opens this file here, and then I go like. So I go here. By the way, each one of the panes. Like I think this is especially useful now when we're working like because of the stream with a small screen. You can do Control+F to make it like full screen.
Wow.
Yeah. I think this is very useful. Maybe this will help you keep those awesome frames around. So
that'll do it for me.
you can even, by the way, while in the full screen, you can like toggle to other panes, right?
Oh,
like with
wow.
Alt, left, right.
It's kind of like you turned all the panes into tabs in a way.
In a way, yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the way, Rob says this is awesome.
So I have a terminal pane here left around, so let's like waste not, want not. I'll just pop it out into a floating pane, and here I can run my tests or have like a basically scratch terminal here. I'm not going to run my tests now because otherwise, like I'm not on a very strong laptop, so otherwise like the stream might start going janky because there is this thing in development where they say like a tool that is not using all of your CPUs is wasting your time, and I'm like, no, don't do that, you rich privileged developers with strong hardware. Some of us are working with like 2014 ThinkPads, and when you use all my CPUs, my stream dies. Please don't do that. So yeah, but anyway, just a minor rant. So
Very fair one.
yeah, yeah. So like here I run my tests, and I popped it back in by mistake, and yeah, I can go here, and yeah, this is basically how I work.
I'm sorry, completely off topic. I just noticed something that might change the game for me with Vim relative lines, which is that I did not know that the line you're currently on gets highlighted. So you're on line 27, I see there.
Yeah. I
Never
think it's a
ever.
config.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You know, my VimRC, I got it the way I wanted it more than 5 years ago, and I've just been carrying it around. So, and so I don't remember. But you totally can do that. And yeah, something. What's another? Oh yeah, I can show you. I hope this works. How I run the end-to-end tests. So
Awesome.
I mentioned the end-to-end tests before, that I have a layout for them. So I aliased it here to E2E in my shell, and this is like an alias for Zellij new tab minus layout, like we did with like at the beginning of the stream, and this loads the end-to-end layout. So I open it here, and it opens a new tab with like the end-to-end test. So this is like here. I also changed the title of the pane, so you know what happens. So here it's reset, to reset the previous environment, to delete the Docker container. Here it's to start the environment. You can see the command Docker compose up. Here it builds the E2E, and here it runs the test. Yeah. So like enter, and then it starts doing things. And when all of these will be done, then I can press enter here. And once the sequential layouts open, then I can just go to this tab, press enter, and it does all of these things one after the other without human intervention. So yeah, this is also something cool that I find.
This is really impressive. And see, so much of the time when I
glad you like it.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing. So much of the time when I talk to folks who are interested in getting into software development, and like they're intimidated by the terminal, I keep wanting to tell them, it's like it's doable. It's just like we learned to use a graphical user interface, so too do we learn to use a command line interface. And I think for me, once it clicks that the being in a folder in a terminal is equivalent to being in a folder in, say, a file explorer, except you can do stuff in it. And that for me sort of changed the way I looked at it.
Yeah, for sure. I think like I very much connect to what you said about the terminal being like a sort of intimidating thing, especially for newcomers. And not just newcomers. There is this type of developer who just doesn't like the terminal very much. They're like amazing developers. They can do like amazing stuff, but they're like, this black box with command line is not really for me.
Which is fair.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it doesn't have to be this way. Because my opinion, why is it this way and it's not this way with like GUI apps? You don't have anyone coming to you and saying, I don't know how to use Facebook, or I don't know how to use like whatever, Google or some or stuff, because these are like interfaces that kind of teach you how to use them. It's kind of obvious, I think the terminal isn't like that because we have a lot of history from like very limited machines and hardware where it ran on, and the kind of crowd that it was originally directed for isn't super consequent about these things. Like not a lot of thought goes into making the terminal usable, and this is something that I'm trying to change with Zellij. And it's with the small stuff like we see in the previous tab, like having the status bar like just tell you what to do. Like these are your options, and it's like it's like in a web interface. Like you can press here, you can do this, whatever. And like it's also with small stuff, like you notice that when I press Control P or go into any mode, then the frame around the pane changes color. This is like it has a dual purpose. It's also for like at first for you to like realize that you're in a different mode. Hey, if you type here right now, then it won't like type inside your terminal because it will start typing the shortcuts and stuff. But also in order to give you feedback, to tell you, hey, user, something happened. And like to immediately show it in front of your face that like the action that you performed happened. And this is something that like these sorts of things is something that you don't get a lot in internal applications because like not a lot of product thinking is going into them. Yeah.
Which just kind of brings me back all the way to the fact that this is all open source, developed by a team of conscientious, when I met you, Aram, like one of the first things that struck me about Zellij was the fact that this is, not just an open source project that is helpful, useful, but also one that has a healthy development cycle with a no, it's not committee. The maintainership leadership is done by what's it called? What's the
maintainer?
Term? A group of maintainers. There's a term for that. Like Rust had the. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure I do.
My bad. Yeah, committee. Like there's a governance model. That's what it has like a healthy governance model. I would like to highlight a comment from Jessica Rose saying, I know this isn't the point, but is anyone else jealous of Aram's Zoom background? It is. I am. It's
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like Zoom doesn't do, or at least I couldn't make it do blurry background stuff on Linux. Like I can't have Zoom backgrounds. Like I guess this is the next best thing. Like this weird flea market thing. And thank you, Jessica. I'm glad you like it.
Cool. I'm still in absolute shock at how well this is all put together. Could we take a moment to take a look at sort of like the workflow of perhaps folks who might be interested in like creating plugins for Zellij and how that looks like? I'm going to bring up, would it help if I brought up my browser?
The plugin system right now is very, very much like going over, being overhauled. So I would not recommend writing plugins right now. It's not something that I can easily show because it's a very long and complex process. It's something that I'm actively working on, and in the next month or two should be ready for everyday use. But right now, even like in the documentation, the plugin system has like a very big disclaimer on top that this is going through changes, expect breaking changes, and a lot of them. We released a version this morning with lots of breaking changes for plugins and for existing developers. And cool. Some people do it if they're like really, really conscientious about it. There's like you kind like I can talk about how it works and such if it's interesting, like on the technical level.
Cool. Please.
Sure. As I mentioned, it's a WebAssembly plugin system. So you take code written for this specific plugin system in any language, compile it to WebAssembly, and then you can load it to Zellij at runtime, like the basic blob, and you don't care what language it was written in. The API that we use in order to talk to the plugins, we have like stuff like tell the plugins, for example, that the mode changed. You now change to pane mode. So when the status bar gets that API message, then it highlights the like the pane on the bottom, like we saw. And we tell the tab bar which tabs we have and such. This is all like information that we need to pass through the WebAssembly barrier. And for those kind of versed in WebAssembly, that this is not like a super like straightforward thing to do. So I think I have not been around the WebAssembly ecosystem for a while, so maybe there are better ways to do it now. But what we did and still do is kind of pass it through std in and std out. So like your WebAssembly plugin, you get std in, but then your std in is wrapped in a library that we give you. We tell you like load this library. We have a Rust library that does this, and that library parses std in and says, okay, so this is an API, like it gets like a JSON file or whatever, serialized, and says, okay, so I got this API like call on stdin, which tells me like that the mode changed, so I changed the mode. Or I got like an actual stdin, like because the user pressed like a letter or whatever, and you need to treat this as I treat stdin normally. And we have a Rust library that does like all of this for you magically behind the scenes, and you don't need to worry about it. We also got someone from the community contributed a library that does the same thing for Zig. So you can write like Zig plugins for Zellij as well.
Sorry, Zig?
Zig is another programming language. I'm not a good person to explain like its pros and cons and benefits and such, but it's like less well-known programming languages, but a lot of people like really swear by it, and there's a lot of love for it. So if people are interested, they can look into Ziglang.
Oh, awesome. Ziglang, let me see. I think I got a link here. Ziglang.org. I'll put that into the chat. Cool. This has been really, really fascinating, Aram. Let's see. I'd love to give you an opportunity to share with us perhaps what's next for Zellij. And you've been hinting here and there throughout the stream, but if you want to give us like a big and now.
So I'm constantly working on improving the app, adding new features, and I see these things as kind of a journey of building infrastructure and then slowly connecting this infrastructure to bigger parts. We've seen part of this infrastructure in, for example, the integration that Zellij has with your editor. With Vim, it can be Vim, it could be Nano, it can be Emacs, it doesn't matter, like what you're using. And you can like load your Zellij layout, and it loads Vim for you. And for someone else who uses Emacs, it will load Emacs for them. So this is like the integration with the editor that we have. We've also seen our integration with commands, with being able to like run command panes, do enter to press to run the command, or Control-C to close the pane. Do it in a floating pane, do it in, And we've seen this ability both in layouts and through the CLI. So this is like the infrastructure that we're starting to build to add those capabilities to Zellij. And I talked about sequential layouts that I want to add. So we'll have like layouts not laid just over space, but laid over time. That like run this, then run this. If it fails, run this, and So so what I'm building towards in this section is like the vision of having like one-line command thing. That is kind of like a shell floating on top of your Zellij that you type your commands in. And then if you type one command, it can open it in one pane. If you type one command and pipe it into another command, then it opens this pane. And when it's done, it opens that pane maybe with its output, maybe just like this, depending on the sort of pipe that you do. Yeah. And then to kind of be able to, because as terminal users, even power terminal users, most of what we do is kind of just in one line. And
I like that.
What this is building towards being able to utilize your entire terminal window. to like do the same sort of magic that you did in one dimension on two dimensions and through time and through all of that. So this is the next thing that I'm building towards. The use case I have in mind is this like one line that you can pipe windows into and like run complex workflows and share them with your team and such. And I'm building it as an infrastructure, so as to say, this is my idea, this is what I want to do, use it if it's cool for you, but you also have the tools to build your idea on top of Zellij as an infrastructure.
That's amazing. And something that hit me when we did, I'm still, in the process of picking up my jaw from the floor from when we did the scroll edit. One comparison that I'm seeing between Zellij and other tools in a similar space is do one thing and do it well. Like, leverage your strengths. And Vim is great. No need to remake it. When you need it, use it. Like that sort of thing, That's pretty cool. Aram, thank you. This has been amazing. I'd love to also, if people want to support development of Zellij, can I put up a link, please?
Yeah, for sure. I have a GitHub sponsors. Contributions would be greatly appreciated. I don't have any income right now, and I'm living on my savings. So like every little bit helps. If you like Zellij, if it makes your life easier, and it's possible for you, and you have the financial ability, I would be very happy to receive your contributions.
Gonna put that here.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
of course, but other than that, financial support is not the only way. Of course, the most important thing is to use the tool. This tool is still considered a beta because we're stabilizing it all the time, but there are still like rough edges here and there. So use the tool. If you find bugs, report them. Join our Discord and Matrix and Reddit. Follow us on Twitter, soon on Mastodon as well.
Nice.
And you can join the development if it's something that's interesting to you. We're a friendly bunch, even though it sometimes takes me a while to get to contributions because my time is limited and the time of the other maintainers as well. But we will definitely be happy to see your code.
Fantastic. Anything else I might have forgotten that we can impart on our viewers?
I think we've gone through like quite a lot of stuff. Like very a good job on highlighting everything.
Oh, well, no, good job to you. Thank you. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Aram, this has been such a joy and so much fun. And I'm like this much so I've been doing a lot of teaching lately. And so like I've been using VS Code a lot, but like can't let go. Like I'm so happy of how useful the terminal has become again. Fantastic stuff. Let you go about your day. Let you kind viewers go about your day. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Been a great time. Bye-bye.